Hello and welcome. This is a video intended for students in Essential Math 40S taking probability in your probability unit. And what we're going to look at in this shorter video is just a quick introduction to the concept of odds. Probability and odds, two different words in the English language, get used interchangeably as meaning the same thing, but mathematically they are basically two different ways of showing how likely something is to happen. They're mathematically different. You can see the word odds is used in popular media. This is a little clip from the Hunger Games, or a little picture from the Hunger Games. So we're just going to define what odds actually means mathematically. So odds are another way of expressing probability. If you've gotten to the odds lesson in your unit, you've already worked through probability and how probability is defined as the number of successful outcomes of some experiment over the total number of outcomes. Odds is a similar thing, but it is calculated quite differently from what probability is. Odds are always written as the number of successful outcomes, which does have a link to probability. It's the same number you would get there. But instead of being compared to the total number of outcomes, you compare it to the unsuccessful outcomes. And you use a colon in between the number of successful outcomes and the number of unsuccessful outcomes. So it would look something like this when you have your odds statement. So we're just going to quickly look at three examples here and jot down the odds for each example. So in the first example, we've got 5 red marbles and 2 blue marbles in a bag. If you choose one of those marbles at random, what are the odds in favor of your marble being blue? Odds in favor mean what are the odds that this is actually going to happen. So I go and I look and I ask myself, how many of these outcomes, there's 7 marbles, 7 possible outcomes, how many would I consider successful? Well, I have 2 blue marbles. Those are my successful outcomes. So I would write a 2 for my number of successful outcomes. And then I need to write my number of unsuccessful outcomes. Again, if this was probability, the second number would be a 7 because there's 7 total outcomes. But for odds, we don't want total outcomes. We just want unsuccessful outcomes here. If you pull a red marble, you are unsuccessful. So there are 5 unsuccessful outcomes in this example. Okay, looking at B, there's 5 red marbles and 2 blue marbles in a bag. Same bag, same number of marbles. If you choose one of the marbles at random, what are the odds against your marble being blue? This is almost the exact same example, except for that phrase. The odds against it being blue means that our successful outcomes would be any marbles that are not blue, right? Odds against means you don't want this to happen. Right? So how many marbles are not blue? Well, I have 5 red marbles. Those are now my successful outcomes because a red marble is successfully not blue. Okay, and then my unsuccessful outcomes would be pulling a blue marble. If you know the odds in favor of something happening, the odds against that same thing happening are always the same odds statement with the successful and unsuccessful outcomes flipped around. And just one more quick one. In the class, there's 14 women and 11 men. If you select a student at random, what are the odds in favor of that student being a woman? Well, again, odds in favor means we want this to happen. So there's 14 successful outcomes to 11 unsuccessful outcomes. Okay, I hope that helps a little bit when you're looking at writing down an odds statement. And thanks for watching the video.